All right, so in the last segment, I started to say I was not enamored with Joe Biden, and I gotta be honest, I don't make this case lightly, and it took me a long while to get there, much longer than many of you in the audience, I'm aware, but guys, there's a history with primarying incumbent presidents that does not end very favorably for either the incumbent president nor the primary challenging crowd here. And so when you make these sorts of arguments, you got to actually do it with some weight and some serious consideration of all of the consequences. However, I feel like, Sean, and I'm interested to hear where you're at on this, that we have just arrived at a point with the gerontocratic leadership of the Democratic Party that is values wise very out of step with the younger generation of the Democratic Party too, where they just simply do not have the ability to rise to meet the challenges of the present moment. And what they were selling us in the 2020 campaign was never that they could. They just said that they'd be an alternative to Donald Trump. And they lived up to that, and that's fine and dandy, but we now have other problems other than Donald Trump. We have an issue on the foreign policy front involving Ukraine, a massive list of war crimes on Ukraine as the Democrats and Joe Biden loosely go, oh, we'll send some more aid. I don't want to do a no-fly zone, Jack. Maybe we'll do this, maybe we'll do that. Standing by on that. On student loans, the Biden administration likes to play games with loan holders on a month-to-month basis, making them wonder and look at their pocketbooks on a monthly basis and wonder, am I going to have to pay more money to my student loans? Not ever being fully sure how it's going to go. On marijuana, an issue I care a lot about. The Biden administration continues to be a moral scold on this. They not only say that not only will they not do anything on this, but they really go further and basically say, no, it should still be illegal. Like we really don't actually agree that marijuana is good. It's how they fired people from the White House over this. And then lastly, and I'm sure this has been the breaking point for a lot of people, Roe versus Wade. Why I've been here a little bit before this is going exactly the way I thought it was going to go. The Democrats have been so married to this safe, legal, and rare framework on abortion that they simply do not know how to fight against an all-out war against reproductive liberty. They don't have the rhetorical framework to do it. They don't even have it constitutionally in their hearts to do it because it's not necessary ideologically where they're at. Same thing on the trans stuff. Look, they get that it's a good election issue, but if you ask a grandpacrat how they really feel about the trans stuff, I don't think you'd like the answer. I really don't. Any number of these things, I think when you sum them all together, result in a version of the Democratic Party that's just simply hard to defend. This is a version of the Democratic Party that keeps saying hard to process or really associate with statements like, we need a strong Republican Party. This is not where I am at as a Democrat. This is not where most Democrats are at as Democrats. Most Democrats would not say a thing like, we need a strong Republican Party. Certainly not in the wake of a domestic terror attack. Certainly not in the wake of the Republicans strong-arming the Supreme Court to outlaw Roe versus Wade and criminalize abortion across the country, more or less. All of these things, I think, sum together for a case for a primary challenger to Joe Biden. But I don't think it should be an old white dude. And I don't even think it should be Liz Warren. I think this needs to be a generational critique. And so before I toss it to you, Sean, who do I want to challenge someone like Joe Biden? I want a younger woman around the age of 40 or so, 45 or so, to come in here and make a generational critique and also be able to say, and oh, by the way, Joe Biden, I don't actually think you can protect my reproductive rights. As weird as this sounds, I think in terms of electorally speaking, having her right around the window of reproductive viability is actually kind of going to be important in this too. It needs to be a salient issue for her, and it needs to really heighten and accentuate the tensions between the grandpacrats, for whom this is all conjectural and back in my day, and someone like a millennial or a late Gen Xer for whom this is all real deal every day in the trenches sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll definitely agree with you on the we are not happy with where we are in this moment, and I'm not. I mean, I'll say my take on what should happen with the primarying is like I'm cynical enough that I feel like we're just completely doomed in terms of either direction we go on
I,
this.
I kind of think we're doomed.
It's all just doom.
This is kind of why I'm also like salt Joe Biden's earth, because I think we're sort of screwed if we keep using him, and
Yeah,
we're screwed if we don't challenge him.
I mean, when historians write the history of this period of time in the future, I think, we all know that they will go back to, the escalator moment of where, we started moving in a bad direction in terms of Trump and all this populism on the right. But then I think underplayed and under accounted for right now.
Tim Kaine?
That's a pretty good one.
No. If you're looking for a sleeper moment where it was Tim Kaine instead of Bernie Sanders,
in 26 for the 2016 sleeper moment, I'll give you that one because I can still remember the level of groan in my body just like when I heard that news and having so much hope that it would be something better. But I was just going to say that the moment right before Super Tuesday in 2020, where it went from looking like Sanders is going to be the face of this moment for the Democratic Party to it's definitely not going to happen. Now it's just going to be Joe Biden for sure. I feel like that moment really gave us a lost decade in politics because now the Democratic Party is committed to defending a Joe Biden version of politics. And when I talk about Joe Biden with my students, I frequently use this line of like, this is a guy that's running on Windows 95. And like, you can take that to mean that like he's slow, which fine. That's not really what I'm getting at.
He's running on like America's economy used to kick ass in 1995, Jack, when Microsoft
his political instincts, they're forged during a period of time that we no longer exist in. So most of the appeals he's going to make, to the extent that he's even capable of making charismatic appeals in the first place, they're going to be aimed at the wrong place. And so, this is someone I will say that, on drug reform, we could have even like not a Sanders, but like any of the other 20 candidates from the field, we would be having a different moment with drug reform right now. On student loan forgiveness, I don't know what that would look like. I don't trust that the Democratic Party, for the most part, would take that seriously with other candidates, but it's definitely not going to be with Joe Biden, who's indicated his opposition to that in the past. They're not going to
Buttigieg would give you weed, but not student loans.
Correct. Like you'd at least get like some kind of half measure and you'd have a younger person that's capable of articulating some kind of vision for the future. But, but like to add to your list, besides just the things policy wise that like have not been moves that the administration has done. And I'm glad you chose the things that you do, because you could choose things obviously like Build Back Better, but like that's dead in the water, probably regardless of who's president, just given the ideological politics of the Senate right now. But like the things you mentioned, these are things that he could have done mostly on his own. He could have gone it unilaterally. And the thing that is just kind of hovering over all of this, I'm a big policy guy. I wish politics were more focused on policy, but like, I think you have to, again, accept the moment that we are in. And this is a moment of communication. This is a moment of articulating visions. This is a moment of like rapidly deviating values from one another. And Biden has, like, it's not even that he's a bad communicator.
Dude, it's like the general's not there. No, what it reminds me of historical example wise, it's like when Russia got invaded by Germany and the Russians couldn't find Stalin for a week. I feel like the news came down from the Supreme Court and the White House, it's still like, where's my president? Like, where's the general? Like we just lost a big battle and he's sort of like, well, I haven't actually seen the ruling yet, Jack. Like, oh, come on, dude. Come on.
It doesn't work. I see in the groups that have support for him, like it's like, like older women that are besmitten still by like Aviator Joe and like the charm and the niceness, and like it's not enough. It's actively alienating the left flank of the youth within the United States, and it's making it harder for Democrats to do what they need to do in the future. I don't know what the solution to this is.
It alienates normies too, though. And that's actually part of why I threw it on the slate is this really started getting on my radar when I heard my normie friends, who I know are like liberals who probably would vote for M4A if it was a referendum sort of types. Like the people that any left coalition that has any dream of ever governing would actually need. They are also out just They
Yeah,
don't
no, I
they
mean,
don't they don't care every day, but like if Joe Biden was not the nominee, they wouldn't give two shits.
this is a really important point because it's not just left-right politics. We've talked about this on the show before, but it's change versus not change politics, and that's so undervalued as a part of what most people are seeing. Most people are just thinking like, this is bad, right? Like this has been bad for a while, and it seems like it keeps getting worse. And like people might define what that badness is in 100 ways, but like there's the politician that's going to tell them like, everything's fine. And like, we just need to try a little bit harder and use some of that old American spit shine. And then there's going to be the politician that tells you, no, you're right. Things are fundamentally broken. We need to treat this like things are fundamentally broken. And like, the right should not be owning that latter conception of America. It is insane that the left set up, like whenever they go low, we go high. Like America is already great as their response to make America great. I mean, you don't gaslight not even the middle of the country, but just like people that might not pay that much attention to
Democrats don't
politics.
think America is great. They
Right.
might go like, "Oh, you can't blame Joe Biden for gas prices or whatever." Like, you know
Right.
what I mean? But like, then you go one step further and go like, "Actually, the country's going really well," and like every Democratic voter's kind of like,
Yeah. And we've
"Ah."
also, talked about this again on the show before, but like in the 1990s, you pass a gigantic infrastructure plan that rebuilds bridges and creates jobs. People actually reasonably care about that. You pass that same plan in 2022, no one gives a shit. I mean, it's actually really important and it does a lot of good things, but like when it comes to what's going to make people feel like their political coalition is being listened to, no one gives a shit. He's not going to get any credit for that amongst the under 30, under 40 crowd. They want to see something change, and like rebuilding our bridges is a band-aid on a band-aid on a band-aid that they're
Yeah,
just not gonna
especially
see
the
meaningful.
modest bill that passed. You know what I mean? Like the biggest problem with that bill is that's a bill that you even have optically a hard time pointing to. Like when they talk about Build Back Better, it's sort of telling that they don't have like a signature picture or anything to even point to, a signature image that makes you think about Build Back Better. It's just hey, we did pass that bill. Yeah. I don't. I mean, look, dude. I'm with you. I'm super pessimistic in that. I think whether he gets primaried or I think if he gets primaried, he probably survives. I think it should still happen. I think whether or not he gets primaried, we're in a heap of trouble. That is going to
I'll just say really
require
quick.
meaningful social action. The stuff in front of the houses this week, getting in front of justices' houses. Everybody needs to do a lot more of that. We're gonna need a lot more of that. It's because I really think at this point, the Democratic Party is going to need to be forcibly primaried and challenged, but like, given where the election cycles are right now, you're just going to need to be on the street constantly because they're not going to respond until they have to.
I mean, to answer your question originally, I mean, like if a gun to my head, like this is just again, does Joe Biden deserve to be primaried? Yes. Should Joe Biden and basically anyone over the age of 75 be taken out
Like
of political
he shouldn't
power?
be the nominee.
Absolutely.
In an abstract world, he has fundamentally failed as the leader of the Democratic
also
Party.
knowing where we are, that like what would I want? Exactly what you said. I want a woman in like her mid 40s that like has policy chops. I mean, that sounds perfect to me. Like I don't know exactly who that person is. That's maybe for a different discussion. But like my thing is like, I don't think we have that. And I think we have a moment right now. It's just like, it's a bad moment politically. Like 2024 is going to be, I know this is the shit that the Democratic Party is going to use to cow everyone into compliance.
Are you about to say it's the most important election of our lives?
I mean, yeah, like I am about to say that, and I hate that shit. I mean, it's obnoxious, it's reductionist.
I hate how they have gotten away with basically using that as an escape to not take action. It's almost like what they like to do is drive the car as far to the edge as possible and go, this is the most important turn of our lives. Right. Yes, because you keep pushing the car to the edge of the road.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. I mean, like, it is simultaneously the case that it is a bullshit tactic that I hate every single time I see them use it. And
you should still go vote.
And as a political science professor, for the love of God, we don't need to handicap the party right now in the middle of the decade when the alternative is fucking Trump. And I know what's going to happen. I know what will happen is we lose. And I can't, the Trump 2 or whatever DeSantis 1 or whatever the fuck comes next, it's not even going to be 2016 to 2020 anymore. Like our country's in a bad way. I don't really know how to like ring the alarm bells anymore, but like it is that important. But like you say, I fully blame the Democratic Party leadership for bringing us through bad strategy for 20 years to a point in time where I have to be doing like this Sophie's Choice bullshit every single time.
No. And I will say lastly, too, especially because people like Susan Sarandon have been taking these little beep, beep, victory lap, oh, Rose repealed. I told you so. Okay, Susan, think about Jill Stein for like 5 seconds. All that support and all that love for Jill Stein. All that not regretting your vote for Jill Stein. And maybe sit this one out.
Yeah.
Maybe reflect inward a little bit. Ask yourself, like, two things. One, would Jill Stein really have been a better president? Like, when you really, like, or not even a better president, a good one. Like just to set the basic threshold of, like, this is human being.
She would be Hallmark card Donald Trump, the same level of paralysis in getting anything done in the White House, and therefore the same level of
daily
dependence on
apoplectic
advisors and random people, and
Yep.
And that.
Yeah, it'd be apoplectic, daily drama. And no, it would have been absolute chaos. Nothing would have gotten done. Maybe a few basic things that like the flank would have maybe liked a little bit, but like no, a net benefit would have been horrible for the country. And like on Sanders, dude, okay, yeah, it sucked that the 2020 campaign didn't go very well for him, but I blame nobody but him for taking 2016, or after losing in 2016, taking 2017 and 2018 and 2019 basically off. He should have been perpetually on the road and flanking Biden and preventing Joe Biden from even ever getting in the race. He should have been aggressively trying to stop Biden when Biden got in the race. He was scared to attack Biden. All of these sorts of things. So there's a lot of blame. There's a lot of blame to go around. That is going to do it for this episode of Don't Worry About the Government. Sean Frieder, where can people find you on the webs?
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me, my research at my website, seanfrieder.com. You can find me also in my articles on Medium.
Don't worry about the government. We'll be back, I don't know, maybe later this month, maybe early part of next month. You can find us on patreon.com/DWATG to watch the video versions of this episode. If you're listening on the audio format, that means you're on iTunes, Stitcher, or Spotify. If you want the audio version, you can, of course, go there, or you can get the audio version on patreon.com/DWATG. $1 a show, which means literally $1 a month, people. Maybe as much as $2 a month, people. That is all I ask at patreon.com/DWATG. For the time being, I'm still on Twitter at DWATG. It's probably going to change if Musk takes over Twitter. But let us all enjoy these glory days as we can. Don't Worry About the Government is an ostensibly monthly podcast at this point. I want to thank you all so much for listening and supporting the show. And until the next one, bye-bye.